What do people from all over the world know about Ukraine before they decide to come and visit Ukraine, and how their perspective about Ukraine changes after they spend some time in Ukraine? Today we will figure this out. Watch this video until the end, because in the end you will figure out whether those foreigners who spend some time in Ukraine have learned some Ukrainian. If you're first time on my channel, welcome! Please make sure to subscribe to ніна-україна, and I'll see you all very soon in the end of the video. Enjoy watching. ніна-україна.
What did you know about Ukraine before coming here?
Ukraine, what I know, that was in war. We can't go there. There is problems. All information. Don't go to Ukraine. Fear. Informations, of course. But I'm a very, very open-minded guy, and I said, of course, it's not true. This is fake. There is amazing people there. So I went to the plane and I say, I go to Ukraine. I have made the good decision. I will meet interesting people. And my friends, don't go, don't go. My mom, you are in Ukraine? Yes, but they are in war. Okay, mama. And the war is not all the country. Because mostly old people, they don't know how to filter information. They have fears as well. So they pass a general message. But I'm also surprised with the young people in Portugal that they don't come to Ukraine. So not too many. I just found one Portuguese here. And I said, we are the two crazies from Portugal. And I'm surprised, and I know I say people to come here. I pass this message to my friends. Come to Ukraine, for example, invest in Ukraine. Let's bring different things, let's make interactions, because it's important.
It belonged to the Soviet Union. And to the Eastern Europe, which is maybe not that wealthy because of there's not a lot of tourism. They have a different history, different culture. I had this idea. I was traveling in Georgia as well, and there's less developed than here, in my opinion. Maybe the main capital city is of course quite developed. Here even Odessa, Lviv, and even Kamyats-Podilsky, they're it feels like an European city. The revolution, or the Crimean difficulties, and the difficulties in Donbass, Donetsk, Lugansk area, so in the eastern part.
From the news or from friends?
From the news. I don't have I've met no people before from Ukraine. Just from the news, I have this information about the problems there. So this is the one thing, and then of course the catastrophe of Chernobyl.
Would you like to go to Chernobyl?
I was.
Not afraid of radiation?
No, I'm an engineer. I'm science and based and facts based. No, I know how much radiation is good or bad for the body, and we had this Geiger counters. It was pretty safe. Within one day in this tour, you get less radiation than in one flight over the ocean.
We got most of our information from the news. I got a lot of information from my Ukrainian teachers. So when I was learning Ukrainian, they would involve Ukrainian culture and current events and things in what we knew. So we were able to learn Ukrainian history and things like that, which I really enjoy being able to, because people, especially Americans, it's a common misconception that Ukraine is part of Russia, or that Russia came first and Ukrainian broke off from that, which is absolutely not the case. Ukrainian is much older and what is it, 500? And I know that it's been invaded and taken over many times by Turks and Polish and things like that. So one of the coolest things I learned, and I love telling people this about Ukrainian language, is that it's closer to about 15 other languages before it is to Russian. So I think that it would be really neat for more Americans to learn the history of Ukraine and how it's its own country, and to not call it the Ukraine anymore.
So you are learning Ukrainian, you said?
Yes.
For how long have you been learning it?
You're always learning, right? You never stop learning. Language is a constant changing, growing thing. I have a TikTok page account, and that's one of the main things I do on that, is I will ask questions about how to say something.
Give me a phrase that you would like to hear me try and say in Ukrainian, and I will duet it, and we will see what my accent sounds like.
Because we learn a lot of literary Ukrainian. When we have a Ukrainian teacher, you don't learn what people are speaking on the streets. You learn proper, almost Shevchenko Ukrainian.
Oh, wow.
So when I speak Ukrainian, I think I speak a little more proper. And I think that almost gives me away as being an American or not being a Ukrainian because I speak so properly. So I like learning. That's why I try to watch. I watched Shkola because that was the only show I could find.
Shkola?
Yes, that it was Ukrainian, and I've now been educated by my TikTok viewers that nobody watches Shkola if they're over the age of 12. So I am looking for other Ukrainian TV shows and movies to watch so I can be like Ukrainians, the way you learn English, that you get to perfect your pronunciation and maybe like more conversational by watching movies and watching TV shows. And I kind of wish there was more available in Ukrainian for us to do that.
I think people in the comments will leave you some suggestions about
I'm sure. I would love to. I was given 2 other suggestions, and it's also hard because none of them have subtitles. So Shkola was good for me because it was kind of on my level because it was high school language, so I knew more of the words. But that's where I learned the word kruto and klas. Most Ukrainian teachers in the States are older, and they haven't actually been in Ukraine for like 20 years or something because they've been living in the US. And so I feel like they don't know as much like what's currently being spoken, if that makes sense.
Before you came here, what did you think about this country?
To be honest, I don't know really. I did not think about it. So like when my dad told me I'm going to Ukraine to study, so like okay, let's go and start.
Why did you pick Ukraine?
Because maybe my friends, they went there here. Yes,
So friends.
my
Okay.
friends went here before me.
What myth do exist about Ukraine?
They are alcoholic.
Yeah, true.
Of course not. It's not true. They like to drink, but they are not alcoholic.
Kyiv is the new Berlin, and there are a lot of electronic parties, electronic music. There are not a lot of clubs that are with international artists, but currently we're in this corona pandemic situation, and unfortunately like it's not possible to join such events. There are no big parties. It's a good time for traveling, but not a good time for partying right now.
Oh, the stereotype that all Ukrainian women are stuck up and want American husbands so they can escape Ukraine. And I don't find that to be true at all, which is very nice, I think. But I think that's I think any stereotype about Ukrainians is the same stereotypes we have about Russians, so that they're cold and standoffish and not really friendly, which is absolutely not the case. So I have found that any Ukrainian that you get to know make you like family. They will invite you into their home.
I think the main myth would be the level of security that we have here, because there's really no danger whatsoever living here or being a tourist at all, and life is as normal as it can be right now, with the exception of the COVID virus, which every country in the world has at the moment, but that's a universal problem.
What do you think about Ukrainians?
Well, I'm from South Europe. We are very emotionally, we connect a lot. Here is not the same. Ukrainians, they contact but not with emotions. So they have their way of being. They are nice, polite, and then they disconnect. Okay. I feel Ukrainians, they want to communicate, but then we don't feel the other part. Also, the language is a barrier, I understand. So maybe I should
Learn some Ukrainian.
Ukrainian people are totally different than Western Europe. They are completely different in the way you interact with. They're pretty straight, pretty forward, they're pretty honest. They're really, really honest. Sometimes maybe too honest. I was having like a kebab, and I met a guy there. He could speak a little bit German. He helped me like with ordering the stuff, and then like after he got his one, he just laughed and said, "Yeah, goodbye, have a nice evening." I have another example. When you ask for direction here, they give you the direction. You look at there, and then the person is already gone. Already disappeared. It's like, okay, give this information, and okay, you have your information. They're like a little bit less talkative. They need some time to open up, and a lot of time to open up. Put a lot of effort in the conversation for a few hours maybe, that like you get into knowing each other a little bit better. Different cultures is like within a second, like you're like best friends, and here to be like best friends is like years of developing this friendship.
Behavior-wise, I know that Americans, and we're kind of known for it, is that we're very friendly and polite. There's lots of please and thank yous and how are you, and to complete strangers we will strike up a conversation standing in line waiting for something, and that's not something you do in Ukraine. We were actually told not to smile out on the streets because Ukrainians would either think that we were crazy or like mentally unstable because if you walk down in Ukraine, the faces are very stoic, and especially because I'm from the south of the United States, that we smile to complete strangers. We smile and wave and hi, how are you? And Ukrainians will look at you like, I don't know who you are. Don't ask me how I am. Like, if you have a conversation with them, you do. But even now, it's very, like when I met you, I wanted to ask you how you were, and I was like, but we don't do that. But then you asked me how I was, and I was like, oh, yay.
The people are very peaceful citizens that want to live well, but I'm not convinced that they've had the opportunities that other countries have had. But now I think they're making progress, although it's slow progress, but it's going slowly in the right direction. But it'll take a long time, I think. A few years ago, only a few meters from here, we've got Maidan, and everybody knows about this. Most people know about the history of what happened 4 or 5 years ago, and it was hitting the headlines all over the world. So I can understand people's fear, but there's no problems here at the moment.
In behavior, I think they are different, yes. The most important thing that I really noticed, how they are treating the kids. They like to treat them with kind of freedom, give them space to walk, move.
Is it different in Egypt?
Yes, they like to put control too much.
Oh.
Yes, it's nice, but not always. Sometimes you need to give space. When they are doing really something wrong, they might forgive them, giving them a second chance. We have in Egypt too the same kind of mentality, but not so much really, to be honest.
What would you tell people who have never visited Ukraine?
So I would tell you to come cross the border by bus to see the guy with the shotgun. Don't come by airplane. It's an opportunity to lose this experience. Okay. Try to understand history of Ukraine, culture, and from there learn society, and don't stereotype, because it's very important to know that Ukraine needs to be understandable, because it's different from I'm just comparing with the European Union. Not so many different, but have a little difference. So when you feel comfortable, make friends, enjoy, go into the traditions, make friends like me. And
of course, I want to tell everyone, go to Ukraine, have a fun time there. It's a beautiful country, enjoy the time there. But I don't want to be promoting tourism too much, because when there's a lot of tourism, the city changes and the culture changes because of globalization. Okay. Everything is mixing up and kind of all the same. Okay. And old cultures, they cannot exist anymore because everything is changing. I love the culture here, I love the people here, so I don't want to change it a lot. Yeah. But everyone that asking me how was Ukraine, should I go there? I would say yes, of course, go there, it's beautiful.
Do it. Come and visit Ukraine, come and experience Ukrainian culture. Yeah, it's worth the trip, and it should definitely be on some of the top tourist destinations. Kyiv is definitely worth the trip, and so is Lviv and Odessa. I feel like you can see several different types of living and cities and things, and because Ukraine is a lot bigger than people think it is too, so there's a lot here. And the center of Europe is in Ukraine.
Would you like to visit other cities?
Yes, I do. I definitely want to. I really want to visit Poltava, because my teacher was from Poltava, and I would like to visit, I can't remember how to say it, Vinnytsia. Yeah, I'd like to go to Vinnytsia. I would like to go to Donbass or Donetsk and can't right now. maybe when things calm down. So a little more, I would like to visit a little more Western Ukraine, just to kind of see a little more of the countryside. I haven't been to a dacha yet, so that's on my list. We're looking at doing maybe a winter holiday in the Carpathians.
I think it is one of the most interesting cities in the world. Kyiv, yes. It has a very big history, and there are many aspects of Ukrainian history that are very interesting. The buildings, the churches, and life in general is very interesting. You know, the cuisine is also interesting. Borscht, it's very tasty. Yes, I enjoy it very much. What I have visited here that's very good, very interesting, is the Kyiv food hall at Arsenalna that has an international cuisine and many Ukrainian specialities, but it's an international food hall, and you'll find something for everybody there. One thing I do like here is the coffee. They know how to make coffee here in Ukraine. In some parts of Germany, it's not very good. There are some things that people do well here.
What would you tell people who have never visited Ukraine and maybe they want to but have doubts? What would you tell such people?
No, they must go. Try it.
Can you say something in Ukrainian?
Так, будь ласка, привіт. Привіт. I can say дякую. Курка.
Курка. Yeah, it's typical Ukrainian.
Так.
Ta.
It's Russian.
Yeah.
In Ukrainian it's tak.
Tak. Це гарно. Дякую. Дякую. And I would like the food here. Вареники. Вареники. Yes, I love every food here. Деруни. Голубці.
Oh. Would you like to learn another phrase?
For example, hello, how are you doing?
Привіт.
Привіт, yes, I know.
Привіт.
Yeah. Привіт, just привіт.
Привіт is Russian.
Привіт.
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 Як справи?
Як справи? Як справи? Привіт, як справи?
And you can say добре, like okay.
Добре is good, yes. My mom is from Poland.
Oh!
So I like Ukraine and Polish have some similarities in language, but still for me it's impossible up to right now.
I don't know, I have a dog, so I've talked about it on my TikTok page, so I don't want to be redundant, but one of my favorite Ukrainian words is nukhati, to smell. Wow. Because I like the sound of it is very Ukrainian to me, so I'll ask my dog, "Що ти нюхаєш?"
Does he respond in Ukrainian?
Yes, she's fluent in all languages. She's also deaf now, so because she's like 14 years old, so she's not deaf, but she doesn't hear real well. That was a big change from when we lived here before to now is the dog culture in Kyiv. When we were back here in 2012, we hardly ever saw dogs unless they were like wild packs and like street dogs, and people seem to be kind of afraid of them. Even little dogs, they would walk around and get away from them. And it's really refreshing and sweet now to come here and that like dogs are welcome in certain restaurants, and everybody has like, I have a taxa, so everybody like there's a little taxa like meeting group at the park across from my house. Several little babusias with their little taxas, and we get together and they all walk around, and I don't know, there's more hope in Ukraine now than there was back in 2012.
And from what I can see, people get like clean after dogs much more now.
Yes, it's much more dog friendly, which I think just makes a country more friendly. When dogs are welcome and everywhere, it makes the country seem more welcoming.
I can say Smacznego. Here is one that might not be so popular. I don't know, it might be Russian. Что угодно?
Yeah, it's Russian.
Right, okay.
Ukrainian very similar, що завгодно.
Okay, and by the way, there's a mix of two languages here, which is called Surgic, and that is a mixture of Russian and Ukrainian.
Yes.
That would be a major obstacle for me here, I think, because we have two languages that are Ukrainian and Russian that run parallel with one another here. And
I understand.
although many people speak English, it is difficult sometimes when you're reading signs and...
Would you like me to teach some phrase in Ukrainian?
Yes.
Which one?
Give me something. Maybe you can think of something useful that I could use.
Where is the bus? If you use the bus.
Where's the bus stop?
Or I love you. In Ukrainian, я кохаю.
See, there's the big difference for a start.
So let's start. Я
Я
кохаю
кохаю
тебе.
тебе.
Я кохаю тебе.
That's interesting. The degree of difficulty with Russian or Ukrainian is a lot higher.
Як справа, I think.
Sorry?
Як справа.
Як справа? Wow!
Yes, that's cool.
This is Ukrainian.
Yes.
Well done. Would you like me to translate you any phrase to Ukrainian?
Let's go have a party.
Пішли
Пішли
разом.
разом. Пішли разом, окей.
На вечірку. To the party. На вечірку. Вечірку.
Вечірку.
Вечірку.
Вечірку.
Вечірку.
Окей.
Пішли.
Пішли разом.
Пішли
Пішли
разом.
на
вечірку.
вечірку.
Yeah.
Вечірку. Oh, that's nice.
Okay.
Okay, let me try and say it. Пішли разом на вечірку.
Wow.
That's cool. That's cool.
Thanks.
Leave a message to Ukrainians.
Well, I think Ukrainians have a lot of fantastic, genuine. At the same time, you are very modern on fashion. I really like the fashion in the streets, people, how they dress. Girls, they are very beautiful. I like the values that they preserve for the family, and I would like that you just keep in that way, because it's the most important values to keep your tradition and show it to the world. So keep it.
Be proud of your country, stay as you are, and yeah, enjoy life.
I would say be patient with Americans because we are not taught in school a lot about the world, especially Eastern Europe. If it wasn't in a world war, we don't know a whole lot. So we like to know more, and we want to be supportive. So have patience with us, and please feel free to educate us, teach us things, teach us about your culture, teach us about your language without being upset. Like, don't be stern. Americans need a gentle hand. Be kind.
Carry on, continuing to try making progress in life, and try and change your system.
You can.
It's a pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Just go ahead, don't wait for it, just do it. Дуже приємно.
ніна-україна.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have some views about this video, then make sure to comment below. And if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please take this time to subscribe below. And also, if you enjoyed watching this video, then make sure to hit that like button. And better not just hit it, but destroy it. Hitting the like button is very, very important if you are visiting YouTube, and especially my channel, and watching my videos. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you very soon in the next videos. Bye bye!